John Barrett, a figure carved from the trials of countless battles, had found solace in the vast, undisturbed expanses of his farm, a hidden gem on the fringes of civilization. Here, amidst the rustling leaves and the gentle hum of nature, he sought refuge from a past marked by war and chaos. His loyal companion Max, a spirited dog with a coat as dark as the night sky, was his only connection to a life filled with purpose and companionship beyond the battlefield. Their days followed a simple, rhythmic pattern. Sunrise heralded their morning trek through the dense woodlands, the dew-soaked earth beneath their feet, and the chorus of the waking forest creatures their only audience. By day, John tended to his farm, a labor of love that bore the fruits of his newfound peace. As dusk painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, they sat by the lake, watching the world transition into tranquil night. This was their unspoken ritual, a testament to the life John had chosen away from the tumult of his previous existence. However, this serenity was not to last. A disturbance, alien and foreboding, shattered the peace of a routine evening. Bright lights pierced the night sky, followed by a thunderous cacophony that seemed to tear the very air apart. John's military instincts kicked in, a rush of adrenaline propelling him towards the source of the commotion. Max bounding ahead, a protective force driven by loyalty. The sight that greeted them was beyond comprehension. A spacecraft, unlike any human engineering, had made its descent not far from their haven. Its design spoke of advanced technology and an origin from beyond the stars. Before John could process the event, tragedy struck. Max, ever vigilant, had approached the alien vessel, barking a challenge. In response, a beam of light, precise and lethal, struck him down. The world stopped for John. The loss of Max, a companion who had been more than a pet but a friend and a remnant of a life he had left behind, ignited a fury within him. The aliens, unaware of the bond they had severed or the warrior they had awakened, continued their survey of the unfamiliar terrain. John's grief turned into a resolve of steel. The years of combat, strategy, and survival resurfaced. A dormant volcano awakened. He knew not who these invaders were or the purpose of their arrival, but a fire had been lit within him. His mission was clear: to seek retribution not just for Max, but to ensure that the threat posed by these extraterrestrial beings was quelled before it could burgeon into a catastrophe for humanity. As the alien vessel ascended, disappearing into the starlit sky, John made a vow over Max's still form. This act of aggression would not go unanswered. His journey would take him beyond the confines of his farm, back into the realm of conflict he had once forsaken. But this time, he was not just a soldier fighting on behalf of humanity. He was a guardian avenging the loss of an innocent life taken far too prematurely. The tranquility of his life had been shattered, but in its place, a new purpose emerged. John Barrett, once a warrior of Earth, now stood as a lone figure against an unknown enemy. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty and peril, but driven by the memory of Max, he would face it head-on. This was not just a quest for vengeance. It was a battle for justice in a universe that had just expanded beyond the realms of human understanding. In the quiet hours of the morning, with the stars still bearing witness to the Earth's solitude, John Barrett stood over the grave of his fallen companion. The simple stone marker, inscribed with the name Max, was a somber testament to the bond that had been severed by an unforeseen act of violence. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, casting long shadows across the land, John turned from the grave and set his sights on a path that would lead him far from the life of peace he had built. The journey back to civilization felt surreal, as if John were moving through a world that had subtly shifted on its axis. His farm, a sanctuary of solitude and healing, now lay behind him, a reminder of what was lost and the cost of the path he was about to tread. The familiar landscape gave way to the sprawling urbanity of Earth's capital, where the Earth's Galactic Defense Force, EGDF, an entity he had once served with distinction, made its headquarters. Walking into the EGDF's command center was like stepping back in time. The buzz of activity, the hum of advanced technology at work, and the solemn faces of those who had dedicated their lives to protecting humanity from the unknown. Everything was as he remembered. Yet John was not the same man who had left. He carried with him the weight of loss and a resolve forged in the aftermath of Max's death. His arrival did not go unnoticed. Whispers filled the air as seasoned officers and young cadets alike recognized the legendary figure among them. John Barrett, the super soldier whose exploits were studied in military academies across the galaxy, had returned, but the fire that had once driven him to seek glory on the battlefield was now a quiet ember, fueled by a desire for retribution. Commander Helen Anders, an old ally and friend, greeted him with a mix of concern and respect. "John," she began, her voice steady yet tinged with emotion, "we heard about the incident at your farm. I can't begin to express—" "There's no time for condolences, Helen," John interrupted, his voice firm. "I came here for information and assistance. An alien species has made contact, and their first act was aggression. I intend to respond." Helen studied him for a moment, recognizing the determination that had once made him a legend. She nodded, leading him to a secure briefing room. "We've had our own encounters with them," she disclosed. "Scouts, mostly. We believe they're the vanguard of something larger. Your incident confirms our fears. They're not here for peaceful exploration." The briefing that followed laid bare the threat facing humanity. The aliens, known as the Crithians, were a technologically advanced species whose motives remained unclear. Encounters had been limited, but their technology suggested a capability for widespread destruction. John listened, absorbing every detail. When the briefing concluded, he spoke, his decision clear. "I will lead the response against the Crithians. I have a personal score to settle, but I also know what's at stake. I need a team, resources, and authorization to operate outside the EGDF's standard protocol." Helen, recognizing the unwavering resolve in John's eyes, knew that denying him would be futile. "You'll have what you need, John. Humanity has always been at its best when facing the unknown. You'll lead our response, but remember, this isn't just about vengeance. It's about ensuring our survival." As John prepared to leave, assembling his plan and gathering his resources, he felt the weight of the mission upon his shoulders. This was no longer just a quest for personal retribution. It was a call to arms to protect humanity and avenge an innocent life taken by an unknown enemy. The super soldier had returned not for glory, but to stand as humanity's first line of defense in a conflict that spanned the stars. With authorization secured and the mission parameters set, John Barrett found himself in the familiar yet daunting role of assembling a team capable of facing the Crithian threat. He knew this mission required not just skilled soldiers but individuals who could adapt, innovate, and confront an enemy about which little was known. Each member had to be more than just proficient in their field. They needed to possess a resilience and versatility that matched John's own. The first to join was Dr. Lena Joe, a leading xenobiologist and linguist. Her expertise in alien languages and cultures would be crucial in understanding the Crithians and any potential weaknesses. Lena, with her keen analytical mind and unwavering calm, had worked with John on previous missions. Her ability to decipher unknown languages from first contact scenarios made her an indispensable asset. Next, John sought out Mikhail "Mick" Ivanov, a former EGDF engineer renowned for his work on spacecraft design and weaponry. Mick had left the force to pursue private sector opportunities, but jumped at the chance to work with John again. His innovative approach to technology and engineering, combined with his experience in combat situations, made him the perfect candidate to upgrade their ship and armaments to levels unmatched by standard military hardware. To round out the team's strategic and combat capabilities, John recruited Tanya Singh and Marcus "Ghost" Williams. Tanya, a tactical genius, had led numerous successful operations across hostile environments. Her ability to think several steps ahead of the enemy would be vital in outmaneuvering the Crithians. Marcus, a former special operations operative known for his stealth and reconnaissance skills, had earned the nickname Ghost for his ability to move unseen. His expertise in gathering intelligence without detection would be key to their mission's success. Finally, to ensure the team's unity and effectiveness, John enlisted the aid of an old comrade, Alex Thompson. Alex, a seasoned combat medic and psychologist, had saved John's life on more than one occasion. His presence would not only provide the necessary medical support, but also help maintain the mental and emotional resilience of the team in the face of unknown dangers. With his team assembled, John focused on their transport and base of operations, a decommissioned EGDF frigate, the UES Phoenix. Mick and his engineering team set to work immediately, overhauling the Phoenix's engines, weapons, and defensive systems. They equipped the ship with experimental technology, including a prototype stealth module and an advanced AI system capable of analyzing and adapting to Crithian technology. As the Phoenix underwent its transformation, John and his team trained relentlessly. They simulated encounters with the Crithians, honing their skills, strategies, and teamwork to perfection. John emphasized adaptability and innovative thinking, pushing his team to think beyond conventional warfare tactics. The team also dedicated time to understand the potential cultures and societal structures of the Crithians. Lena led these sessions, piecing together a profile of their enemy from the scant information available. Their goal was not only to defeat the Crithians, but to seek a resolution that might avoid unnecessary conflict. However, John made it clear that they would not hesitate to use force if it meant protecting humanity. As their departure neared, John addressed his team, recognizing the journey they were about to embark on. "We're stepping into the unknown," he began, his voice steady and commanding. "Each of you was chosen because you're the best at what you do, but more than that, you possess the courage to face whatever lies ahead. Together, we'll protect our home and avenge those we've lost. Let's show the Crithians and the galaxy that humanity is not to be underestimated." With a sense of unity and purpose solidified among them, the team boarded the UES Phoenix. As the ship powered up, leaving Earth's orbit, they set their sights on the vast expanse of space, ready to confront the Crithian threat head-on. John Barrett, once a lone warrior seeking vengeance, now led a team united by a common goal to defend humanity and uphold the values that define their species in the cosmic arena. As the UES Phoenix sliced through the vacuum of space, John Barrett and his team prepared for their first real test. Their mission was to intercept a Crithian scout ship that had been detected in the vicinity of a remote human colony on the frontier world of Cerulia 4. This planet, with its lush biomes and sprawling oceans, was a jewel in humanity's expanding frontier, but now it stood on the brink of confrontation with an unknown adversary. Under John's command, the Phoenix approached Cerulia 4 with caution, utilizing Mick's prototype stealth module to remain undetected. The tension aboard was palpable. For many of them, this would be their first encounter with the Crithians outside of simulations and briefings. Lena reminded the crew that the goal was to gather information and, if possible, to avoid direct confrontation. Their mission was reconnaissance, but they were prepared for combat if necessary. As they neared the planet, Marcus "Ghost" Williams deployed in a reconnaissance pod, his mission to stealthily observe the Crithian activities from the planet's surface. What he discovered was alarming. The Crithians were not merely scouting, they were preparing for an invasion. With their advanced technology, they had erected a base camp and were amassing weapons that could devastate the colony. With no time to waste, John made the call to intervene. "Our priority is to protect those people," he declared, setting the stage for a daring offensive. Tanya Singh quickly formulated a plan, combining guerrilla tactics with the element of surprise. Their objective was clear: disable the Crithian ship, disrupt their base camp, and send a clear message that humanity would not stand idly by. The Phoenix descended into Cerulia 4's atmosphere, its sudden appearance catching the Crithians off guard. Lena broadcasted a message in the Crithian language, a warning of their intent to defend the planet. It was met with silence, the alien invaders seemingly unfazed by the threat. But John knew better than to expect an easy victory. He and his team donned their battle suits, each one a masterpiece of engineering, designed for maximum protection and mobility. The battle that ensued was unlike any other. The Crithians were formidable opponents, their technology nearly matching that of the Phoenix's upgrades. But what they hadn't anticipated was the ingenuity and determination of John's team. Mick utilized the ship's advanced weaponry to disrupt the Crithian shields, creating an opening for the ground team to strike. On the surface, Tanya and Marcus led the assault, their tactics catching the Crithians off balance. Lena's knowledge of the Crithian language allowed them to intercept and jam their communications, sowing confusion among their ranks. Meanwhile, John moved with a singular focus, his thoughts on Max and the countless others who could suffer if they failed. The turning point came when Mick, from aboard the Phoenix, executed a daring maneuver that disabled the Crithian scout ship's main power source. Grounded and isolated, the Crithian forces on Cerulia 4 quickly found themselves outmatched. The battle ended with the Crithians' surrender, their invasion thwarted, and their ship captured. In the aftermath, the team worked to secure the area and assist the colony in fortifying its defenses. The captured Crithians were treated with dignity in hopes of gathering intelligence and possibly opening a channel for dialogue. John, however, remained wary. This victory, though significant, was but the first skirmish in what promised to be a prolonged conflict. As the Phoenix left Cerulia 4, its crew celebrated their success, but remained grounded in the reality of their situation. They had proven their capabilities and sent a message to the Crithians, but the road ahead was fraught with uncertainty. John knew this better than anyone. He had seen the cost of war firsthand, and though driven by a desire for vengeance, he also harbored a hope for a peaceful resolution. But for now, John and his team had achieved their objective, protecting humanity's frontier and demonstrating that, even in the face of a formidable alien threat, the human spirit of resilience and defiance burned brighter than ever. The victory on Cerulia 4 rippled through the corridors of power within the human territories, igniting a beacon of unity among the scattered colonies. News of John Barrett and his team's successful defense against the Crithian incursion served as a rallying cry for humanity. However, John knew that to sustain their efforts against a potentially widespread Crithian threat, they would need more than just human resolve. They needed allies. Understanding the galaxy's political landscape, John proposed an ambitious plan to the Earth's Galactic Defense Force, EGDF, to seek alliances with other species that had either faced Crithian aggression or could potentially be in their path. This strategy was met with skepticism by some within the EGDF, who doubted the feasibility of forging alliances with species that had historically been rivals or neutral towards humanity. Yet the urgency of the threat and John's convincing argument that the Crithians posed a common enemy led to a reluctant approval. John's first destination was the planet Zentari, home to the Zentarans, a species known for their advanced technology and a strict code of honor. The Zentarans had remained neutral in previous galactic conflicts, preferring isolation to involvement. Convincing them to join an alliance against the Crithians would be a formidable challenge. Upon landing on Zentari, John and Lena, acting as the team's diplomat, were greeted with cautious hospitality. The Zentaran High Council listened intently as Lena presented evidence of the Crithian threat, emphasizing the devastation they could unleash across the galaxy. John spoke passionately about the potential for mutual defense and prosperity, appealing to the Zentarans' sense of honor and duty. After tense negotiations, the Zentarans agreed to a conditional alliance, swayed by the evidence of the Crithian menace and the opportunity to stand united with other species against a common foe. This historic alliance marked the beginning of a new chapter in galactic diplomacy. Emboldened by their success with the Zentarans, John's team turned their sights on the Cillians, a species known for their exceptional pilots and navigators. The Cillians had suffered minor skirmishes with Crithian scouts, leaving them wary but not fully committed to the conflict. Marcus's reconnaissance skills and Tanya's strategic insights played a crucial role in demonstrating the strategic advantage of Cillian agility in combat scenarios against the Crithians. Convincing the Cillians required showcasing the benefits of their unique skills within the alliance, promising them a pivotal role in coordinated defense efforts. With the Zentarans' technological prowess and the Cillians' unmatched skills in space navigation and combat, the burgeoning alliance began to take shape. Each success brought new challenges, as John's team navigated the complex web of galactic politics, but their determination and the shared threat of the Crithians gradually brought more species to the table. The alliance that emerged was unprecedented, spanning across multiple species and star systems, each bringing its strengths to bear against the Crithian threat. John and his team had not only succeeded in forging a coalition, but had also laid the groundwork for a united galactic front that could stand against not just the Crithians, but any who threatened peace and stability. As the UES Phoenix journeyed back towards human space, the team reflected on their diplomatic achievements. The challenges ahead were daunting, but in uniting former rivals and neutral parties against a common enemy, they had sparked a glimmer of hope across the galaxy. John Barrett, once driven by a quest for vengeance, now stood as a symbol of unity and resilience, leading a coalition that represented the best chance for peace and security in a galaxy threatened by war. With a burgeoning alliance behind them, John Barrett and his team set their sights on a more ambitious and dangerous objective: uncovering the Crithians' motivations and, if possible, finding a peaceful resolution to the conflict. Intelligence gathered from various encounters indicated that the Crithians were not invading territories at random. There was a pattern, a method to their seemingly aggressive expansion, pointing to a deeper, possibly existential reason behind their actions. John proposed a daring mission to infiltrate Crythia, the heart of the Crithian Empire. The risks were immense, but the potential rewards, a deeper understanding of the Crithian agenda and possibly finding a way to coexist, drove the team forward. The alliance, while supportive, could not officially sanction such a mission due to its high risk and political implications. Thus, John and his team set out alone, under the cover of secrecy, aboard the UES Phoenix. The journey to Crythia was fraught with danger. Navigating through Crithian-controlled space required every bit of skill and ingenuity the team possessed. Marcus's stealth tactics, combined with mixed modifications to the Phoenix, allowed them to evade detection, slipping through the network of Crithian outposts and patrols. Upon reaching Crythia, what they found was not the heart of a warmongering empire, but a dying world. Crythia's atmosphere was deteriorating, its oceans poisoned and its land barren. The once thriving Crithian civilization was on the brink of collapse. Lena's expertise allowed them to tap into Crithian communications, revealing a society in despair, driven to find new worlds not for conquest, but for survival. John and his team landed on Crythia, using advanced cloaking technology to explore the planet undetected. They witnessed firsthand the environmental devastation that had driven the Crithians to desperation. It became clear that the Crithians were not the aggressors they had believed, but victims of their own technological advancement and environmental neglect. Armed with this new understanding, John sought a way to communicate with the Crithian leadership. Utilizing Lena's knowledge of their language and culture, they crafted a message of peace, offering assistance in finding a solution to their environmental crisis in exchange for halting their expansion into human and allied territories. The response was cautious, but intrigued. The Crithian High Command, recognizing the futility of their current path, agreed to a secret meeting with John and his team. This unprecedented dialogue, held in a ruined Crithian city, was tense but hopeful. John argued passionately for a coalition of civilizations to address the Crithians' environmental collapse, suggesting that the technology and knowledge of the Alliance could be shared to rehabilitate Crythia and find new, habitable worlds for resettlement. After intense negotiations, an agreement was reached. The Crithians would cease their military expansion and join the Galactic Alliance, contributing their advanced technology and knowledge in exchange for assistance in saving their world and finding new homes for their people. As the UES Phoenix made its way back to Allied space, John and his team reflected on their journey. They had gone into the heart of darkness, expecting to find an enemy, but instead found a civilization in need. Their mission had shifted from one of confrontation to one of compassion, changing the course of the conflict and opening the door to a future of cooperation and peace among the stars. The news of the agreement spread quickly, transforming the galactic political landscape overnight. Skepticism and fear gave way to hope and collaboration, as species once divided by suspicion came together to address the challenges facing Krithia and the galaxy at large. John Barrett, who had embarked on this mission seeking vengeance for a personal loss, had become a symbol of peace, demonstrating that even in the darkest of times, understanding and cooperation could light the way forward. The fragile peace forged between the Galactic Alliance and the Krithians was put to the ultimate test when a rogue faction within the Krithian military, unwilling to abandon their conquest-driven doctrine, mounted a surprise assault on the strategic galactic nexus known as the Rift. This region of space, known for its volatile energy streams and treacherous navigation, was critical for both strategic mobility and as a symbol of the newfound unity among the galaxy's civilizations. The rogue Krithians' objective was clear: reignite the conflict and disrupt the burgeoning peace. John Barrett, recognizing the catastrophic potential of the rogue faction's assault, rallied the Alliance fleet, calling upon every member species to defend the Rift. It was a moment that transcended previous animosities and differences, uniting them against a common threat. The battle that loomed on the horizon was not just for control of a region of space, but for the very soul of the galaxy and the future of its many diverse inhabitants. As the Allied fleet assembled, John and his team aboard the UES Phoenix prepared for what could be their most daunting challenge yet. With the Phoenix retrofitted and ready for battle, thanks to Mick's engineering genius and strategies developed by Tanya and Lena that leveraged the unique strengths of each allied species, they approached the Rift with a mixture of determination and apprehension. The battle commenced with the rogue Krithian fleet launching a ferocious assault, their advanced weaponry and sheer numbers giving them an early advantage. The Allies, however, were not easily daunted. Under John's leadership, they executed complex maneuvers and counterattacks, utilizing the Rift's hazardous environment to their advantage. Marcus's stealth operations behind enemy lines provided critical intelligence, allowing the Allies to anticipate and counter the Krithians' moves. As the battle raged, the Phoenix spearheaded a daring assault on the rogue faction's flagship. John and his team, leveraging their ship's advanced tech and their unparalleled combat skills, breached the enemy vessel. In a fierce confrontation, John faced the rogue faction's leader in a duel that would decide the fate of the galaxy. With everything at stake, John's resolve was unbreakable. He fought not just for vengeance or pride, but for peace and the future of countless worlds. The duel ended with the rogue leader's defeat, and the Allied forces seized the moment to press their advantage. The rogue faction's morale shattered, and the tide of battle turned decisively. In the end, the Allied fleet emerged victorious, but the victory was bittersweet. The cost had been high, and the rifts within Krithian society exposed. In the aftermath of the battle, the galaxy breathed a sigh of relief. The rogue faction's defeat served as a warning against the perils of division and the importance of unity in the face of existential threats. The Krithians, chastened by the insurrection within their ranks, recommitted to the alliance and the peace process, bolstered by the heroism of John and his team. The Battle of the Rift would be remembered not just as a military engagement, but as a turning point, where the newly formed Galactic Alliance proved its resilience and commitment to a collective future. It underscored the necessity of unity and cooperation across civilizations to ensure peace and prosperity in a galaxy full of diverse and potentially conflicting interests. John Barrett, once a soldier driven by personal loss, had become a leader who saw beyond the immediate horizon to the vast potential of a united galaxy. His actions and those of his team had not only averted a crisis, but had laid the groundwork for a lasting peace, demonstrating that even the deepest of rifts could be bridged through courage, understanding, and an unwavering commitment to the common good. The aftermath of the Battle of the Rift brought a fleeting sense of unity and triumph to the galaxy, but the shadows of betrayal were never far behind. As the Alliance began to rebuild and fortify their positions, intelligence reports hinted at a troubling development. A mole within the ranks of the Alliance, leaking critical information to rogue factions still loyal to the old Krithian war doctrine. The unity that had been so hard-fought began to fray under the weight of suspicion and mistrust, threatening to unravel the fragile peace that had been established. John Barrett, ever vigilant, understood that the battle against external threats was only one part of the equation. The internal threat of betrayal could prove even more devastating. Determined to root out the mole and preserve the alliance, John launched an internal investigation, calling upon Marcus "Ghost" Williams for his unparalleled reconnaissance skills and Alex Thompson for his psychological insight into the potential mole's behavior. The investigation was arduous and fraught with the tension of shattered trust. Alliance members, once open and collaborative, grew guarded and suspicious of each other, their interactions strained by the specter of betrayal. John, navigating these treacherous waters, emphasized the importance of unity and trust, reminding everyone of the common goals that had brought them together. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a routine security audit, Lena Joe stumbled upon a series of encrypted communications hidden within the Alliance's own data network. With mixed technical expertise, they decrypted the messages, revealing a trail that led to a high-ranking officer in the Alliance's command structure. This officer, driven by fear of the Crithians and a misguided belief that surrendering to their demands would ensure survival, had been leaking sensitive information, hoping to negotiate peace on their terms. Confronted with the evidence, the officer confessed, consumed by guilt and fear. John faced a critical decision. The betrayal had shaken the Alliance to its core, and a harsh response could further damage the fragile bonds of trust. In a move that surprised many, John chose not to seek retribution, but to offer a chance at redemption. The officer was relieved of their command but was allowed to remain within the Alliance, working in a non-sensitive capacity under close supervision. This decision, controversial as it was, became a defining moment for the Alliance. John's choice to forgive, emphasizing the need for unity and understanding over punishment and division, resonated throughout the ranks. It served as a powerful reminder that the Alliance's strength lay not just in military might, but in its capacity for compassion and forgiveness. The incident also prompted a re-evaluation of security protocols and the establishment of a new, more rigorous vetting process for sensitive positions. The Alliance emerged from the shadows of betrayal stronger and more cohesive, with a renewed commitment to transparency and mutual trust. John's leadership through the crisis solidified his reputation not just as a military strategist, but as a visionary leader who understood the complex dynamics of interspecies relations and the value of second chances. As the Alliance continued to navigate the challenges of post-war reconstruction and integration, John's actions in the face of betrayal would be remembered as a pivotal moment that helped steer the galaxy away from the brink of renewed conflict and towards a future of greater understanding and cooperation. In the wake of the betrayal and with the strengthened bonds of trust and unity among the Alliance, John Barrett led his team and their allies in preparing for what was anticipated to be the final stand against the remaining rogue Crithian factions. These factions, isolated but still formidable, had regrouped in the Orion sector, fortifying their position around a strategic star system. Their intention was clear: to launch a final desperate assault on the Alliance and to reclaim their lost honor and power. Understanding the stakes, John and the Alliance's leadership planned a multi-pronged assault designed to neutralize the rogue Crithian stronghold and capture their leaders, aiming to bring a decisive end to the conflict. The operation would require meticulous coordination among the diverse forces of the Alliance, leveraging their unique strengths and capabilities. The UES Phoenix, with John and his team at the helm, spearheaded the assault. Mix engineering prowess had further enhanced the ship's capabilities, equipping it with cutting-edge weapons and defenses tailored to counter the Crithians' advanced technology. Lena's insights into Crithian tactics and psychology informed their strategy, allowing them to anticipate and counter the enemy's moves. As the Alliance fleet approached the Orion sector, they were met with fierce resistance. The rogue Crithians, aware that they were fighting for their survival, unleashed their full arsenal, turning space into a deadly battlefield of energy blasts and maneuvering ships. Tanya Singh's tactical acumen and Marcus's covert operations proved invaluable. disrupting the Crythian defenses and creating openings for the Alliance forces. The battle reached its climax as John led a boarding party onto the rogue faction's flagship. The corridors of the ship became the scene of intense combat, with John and his team fighting their way through to the bridge. There, they confronted the rogue faction's leader, a hardened veteran who refused to surrender, clinging to the belief that their cause was just. The confrontation was brief, but intense, with John ultimately prevailing. However, instead of executing the defeated leader, John offered mercy and a chance for the rogue Crythians to join the Alliance, to work together for a better future. Faced with the totality of their defeat and the genuine offer of peace, the rogue leader accepted, marking the end of the conflict. In the aftermath, the Orion sector was secured, and the remaining rogue Crythians were integrated into the Alliance, beginning the long process of reconciliation and healing. The victory was celebrated throughout the galaxy, not as a triumph of one species over another, but as a victory for unity and cooperation over division and war. John Barrett, once driven by a personal vendetta, had become a symbol of hope and reconciliation. His leadership had not only secured peace, but had also laid the groundwork for a new era of galactic cooperation. The Alliance, strengthened by its trials and forged in the heat of battle, stood ready to face the future, united in its diversity, and committed to maintaining the peace that had been so hard won. As the UES Phoenix made its journey back to Earth, John and his team looked out into the vastness of space, reflecting on their journey. They had faced unimaginable challenges and had come through stronger, not just as warriors, but as peacemakers. The galaxy they had fought for was now entering a period of unprecedented peace and collaboration, a testament to their courage, determination, and willingness to believe in the possibility of a better future. The galaxy, once teetering on the brink of division and conflict, now embarked on a path of healing and unity, thanks to the efforts of John Barrett and his diverse team. The victory in the Orion sector had marked a turning point, heralding an era of peace and cooperation among the civilizations of the galaxy. The former rogue Crythians, integrated into the Alliance, worked alongside their one-time adversaries, contributing to the reconstruction efforts and sharing their advanced technology for the common good. In the wake of the conflict, a grand summit was convened on Earth, bringing together representatives from every member of the Alliance. It was a historic gathering, symbolizing the unity and diversity of the galaxy's civilizations. John, his team, and the UES Phoenix were honored for their pivotal role in securing peace. Yet for John, the accolades paled in comparison to the satisfaction of seeing the galaxy united. The summit concluded with the signing of the Galactic Unity Accord, establishing a framework for collective security and cooperation. The accord laid the foundation for a shared future, where disputes would be settled through diplomacy and mutual respect. John's dream of a galaxy where peace prevailed had become a reality. As life returned to normalcy, John found himself at a crossroads. The soldier in him was ready to retire, having fulfilled his duty to his fallen friend Max and to the galaxy. Yet, the leader in him recognized the ongoing need for vigilance and diplomacy to maintain the peace. Choosing a middle path, John decided to establish a peacekeeping and mediation organization, drawing on the diverse talents of his team. Lena focused on cultural exchanges to foster understanding among species. Mick continued his technological innovations, now aimed at rebuilding efforts. Marcus trained a new generation of peacekeepers, emphasizing stealth and non-lethal interventions. Tanya and Alex focused on conflict resolution and psychological support for war-torn communities. John's leadership in this new venture was a beacon of hope, guiding the galaxy through its post-war recovery. His actions inspired many, proving that even in the darkest of times, one individual's resolve could change the course of history. Years passed, and the galaxy flourished under the principles of the Unity Accord. Civilizations grew closer, their shared experiences in the war fostering a deep, enduring bond. The scars of the conflict slowly healed, giving way to a period of prosperity and innovation. John, now an elder statesman respected across the galaxy, returned to his farm on Earth, the site of his journey's beginning. There, amidst the rolling fields and under the peaceful sky, he found solace. Though he missed Max, his faithful companion, the memories of their time together were a constant source of comfort. One day, as John walked through the fields, he encountered a stray dog, lost and alone. Seeing the fear in the animal's eyes, John extended his hand in friendship. The dog, after a moment of hesitation, approached and nuzzled his hand. In that instant, John felt a connection, a reminder of the bond he had shared with Max. Adopting the dog, John named him Nova, a symbol of the new beginnings and the hope that now defined the galaxy. Together, they would walk the fields of the farm, a man and his dog, looking out at the horizon. John Barrett, once a soldier driven by vengeance, now stood as a guardian of peace, his legacy written in the stars and in the hearts of all who believed in the possibility of a better future.